do this. I was abducted in Mexico, and I had my mind hacked. Why am I saying this? Well, it sure as fuck isn't to commit social suicide, I'll tell you that for free. I actually have proof. There's 5 witnesses to the abduction. I've got these weird gray hair silver dots in my head, where the laser dropped me like a sack of hammers in Mexico when I was abducted. I have physical evidence. I've got images of a computer brain interface that's been implanted in my chin, most likely when I was abducted. I have a signal from the device. I have police files, counts of electronic harassment and really, really crazy CIA level shit. Like someone implanted pictures of random people on my phone. Like their whole life story is in my phone. Multiple people. So let's go back to the beginning. This story is fucked up. And like a lot of fucked up stories, it starts in Mexico. So my friends and I went to Mexico to get away from the winter monotony of Canadian winters. And we're really enjoying ourselves. Like it is one of those times where you're having so much fun that your cheeks hurt. And we decided that we're gonna go out for dinner. And the girls wanted to go to Bubblegum Fish Factory. So, no problem. I hate fish. It makes my stomach churn. I can't stand the smell of it or the taste of it. So when the fish comes, I'm like, excuse me, I'm gonna go and get some fresh air. They're like, cool, see you in a few minutes. Get it from the table, walk outside, got a couple minutes to kill, have a look around, cross the street, I see some red and blue lights. Wonder what that is. Boom, aced, like a Ming vase in a bullfight. Dropped like a sack of fucking hammers. I went to the place before birth. I was gone like the wind. So I come to. I can't talk. I can barely see. I don't even know I'm in Mexico at this point. I am fucked up. But off in the distance, I see a sign. So, move towards the sign. As I'm getting closer to the sign, the pieces are starting to come back into place in my brain. Very, very slowly. I walk down the sidewalk, walk up to the concierge. It happens to be a hotel. I'm trying to talk to the guy, but my brain's working, but my mouth won't make noises. So I reach in my pockets, I look, I got my phone, I got a room key. Sweet, room key. So I hand him the room key. This fucking guy laughs at me. He thinks I've been partying all night and I'm too wasted to talk. Looks at my key, laughs, long way, senor, long way. I'm like, fuck me. So I walk back to the road, grab my phone, let's see if this works. Try it, it's dead. Great, shove it back in my pocket. I was gone so long that I left at dinner, and when I got back to the hotel room, I was able to watch the sun come up. So I had a bath, my body was aching and in an agony. I drain the tub, I get out of the bathtub, and I go to bed. My girlfriend's laying in the bed beside me. Wake up in the morning, and she's like, where the fuck were you? I don't know where I went. So we go down for breakfast. And my friends are like, where the fuck were you? We spent hours looking for you. And I'm like, but then weird shit started happening. And I'm not just talking about the electronic harassment like I touched on earlier and go into more detail later, but really fucked up shit. So I started hearing voices. And I know you're thinking, okay, this guy's shit crazy, but bear with me for a second. They started asking me these really fucked up questions, like taking the piss out of me. Like, why do you drive to take your dog for a walk? Questions like, why do you eat meat? How often do you pay your employees? Why are you humans so loud? Fucking humans, why are you all so stupid? Commanding me to log into the computer and search for the Canadian national budget. Saying weird things like, you have no idea how dumb that is. But they're constantly questioning me, challenging everything I ever believed. The really, really weird thing is that they started teaching me. What? Yeah. Physics, chemistry, sociology, psychology, philosophy, astronomy. We would have like the most philosophical conversations about like the perfect idea of power, the perfect idea of desire, like crazy shit. I've never heard of anyone being taught by voices before. I was given a more accurate model of the atom. I was taught the physics of light, I was shown the absolute best way to communicate. I was taught computer and AI science. Like, how does that work? But everything I have, I paid the price of admission for. So I'm in Canada and I'm trying to run my business. And every little tiny little frustration that I go through is amplified on a scale out of 1 out of 10, it's amplified to a 20. I got headaches and nausea. I was basically fighting for my life. There was this unrelenting, constant pressure on me. So I know I need to do something or I'm not going to make it through this. And so I go to the local swimming pool and just happen to be there. Dive down to the deepest part, all the way to the bottom, and all of a sudden, the pressure relieves, the amplitude drops. So I go to the top, amplitude comes back. Dive down to the bottom, amplitude drops. Interesting. So I try to elaborate. I take my dog for a walk in the greenway. I go under a bridge. Attenuates, come out, comes back up. I'm driving in the car and I would hit the brakes and I would get a moment of relief. I would swerve, I would get a moment of relief, but it would always come back. So I go into my basement and I go into the four corners trying to isolate the horizontal plane. And sure enough, it didn't make any difference. Interesting. So I knew that the signal was coming from above. So in Vancouver, I went to the deepest spot where the train goes, like in the subway. And the attenuation was almost gone. There was still a signal, I could still hear them, but the intensity of the interaction was grossly attenuated. So all of this is telling a story. There's a signal. It's definitive. So now I need proof, right? So I go to my doctor, and my doctor's a nice guy, and he's struggling with this. I don't blame him for it. It's a tough pill to swallow. He recommends I go see a shrink. So, awesome. I want to know what's wrong with me. Go see a shrink. I spend 9 sessions with this guy, okay? He's awesome. Listens to me, asks me questions, did a wonderful job. You know what he did at the end? He writes me a letter. He writes me a letter to my doctor saying that my claims warrant investigation. Awesome, right? So I take this letter and I go to my doctor and I'm like, hey doc, the shrink thinks we got to dig into this. Doctor rolls his eyes. Great. If there's anything in your face, I'll eat my hat. So he orders an MRI. I've been begging him to give me an MRI. Finally, he grants me permission to go get an MRI. I go get an MRI. I have to pay for it myself, but whatever. I go get an MRI. I go back to the doctor. Doctor's like, results come back normal. I'm like, normal? What the fuck do you mean normal? There's no way it's normal. So I go back to the MRI clinic and I demand my USB. They give me the USB, I take it home, shove it into the computer, bring up the images, and what do I see? A giant hole in the image. What do you mean it's normal? How the fuck is that normal? How could you make such an egregious mistake? So, I print it off, take it back to my doctor, and I'm like, hey doc, what the fuck is this? He's like, oh, that's weird. Yeah, no shit, it's weird. Maybe we should get an x-ray. So no problem, let's go get an x-ray. So I go to the x-ray clinic. They take an x-ray of it. Results come back, normal. I'm like, bullshit. Give me the images. They give me the images. Sure enough, on the damn x-ray, there's a little pyramid object in my face, and it's 2.17 millimeters in size, and it's 3-dimensional. You got it from both sides. So I'm at home, and I'm trying to sleep, and I got these scintillating colors going through my head, and they're talking to me, yapping to me, and my head is buzzing, and I can't sleep. So I order one of these EEG headbands, and I get the headband, I hook it up, and sure enough, the amplitude of the EEG is so big, it's actually off the scale of what the device can measure. The top of the graph is flat. So at this point, you're thinking, what the fuck, right? Yeah, me too. So why would they do this? The short answer? Their computer needs data, just like ours does. The data needs to be clean. So the entire time they've been here, they've been watching us, learning, studying, perfecting methods. They need a way to validate that the data that they're collecting is good data. They also feel like they need to keep an eye on us. And I mean, can you blame them? We do a lot of fucked up shit. So the way that they validate this data is they put a person in a mirrored state, which is the first person perspective of a human. Okay, so in this instance, it's me. At any given time, there's 2 EBEs here. So that's extraterrestrial biological entity. That's a military term. And I know that they're biological entities because they make mistakes sometimes. They say things that aren't accurate. They make a fool of themselves. They screw up. I screw up. People screw up. Computers don't. So I know that they're people. I also know that they're close by because there's absolutely zero delay in the signal, to which it has never dropped out. Except for one time. We'll go into that in a second. So they sit in a ship, it's underwater or in space or wherever the fuck it is, and they first person into people with computer brain interfaces. Just like in the movie Avatar, when they hack the Navi and run around inside their body. It's very similar to that, only this isn't about control, it's about validating data. So they've got a massive network of these chips in people, and it's surveillance. They're feeding their AI algorithm data so that they can make predictive models of how we're going to behave, how we're going to think, how we're going to act, how we're going to feel, given certain influence. And the way that they do that validation is by experiencing one person's life. I happen to be that person. And the computer asks the mirror image of me, or the EBE entity who lives my experience in the first person, like the Navi or like on Avatar. The computer asks them questions. What does this mean? Why is he going through this experience? Or sometimes the computer will get the emotion wrong and her job is to correct it. So I'm sure at this point you're wondering who the fuck I am, right? Well, I'm not somebody special and I wasn't chosen for this. Years in the computer has afforded me privilege to technology. I know how all of the good shit works. I know how cloaking works, AI, their computer science. I know how they manipulate gravity to create propulsion. I know their physics. I know where the missing dark matter is in the universe. I know the real behavior of light. I know sociology in ways we haven't even thought of yet. I know philosophy, communication. Their ability to communicate is absolutely exquisite. The technology I've been afforded is priceless, and it's all in my head. And I'm doing this because I feel like I need to share it. I need to share my experience with humanity. So this is the story of my experience. The story of a lifetime. Smash that like button and make sure to hit the subscribe for more content.